Hello, my name is Steve Rennie. Welcome to my Ren Baron YouTube flying channel. Now, if you're new here, you should know that I am not a professional pilot, nor am I a CFI. I've been flying now for just a little bit under 3 years. During that time, I've earned my private pilot license and also an instrument rating, which I've had for about a year. And over the course of those 3 years, I've racked up about 650 hours to date. But no matter how many hours I fly, it seems like there's always a new lesson to learn, and that was certainly the case on my flight from Santa Monica to Lake Tahoe. We've all heard that old poker player's axiom, you got to know when to hold 'em and know when to fold 'em, and that's true about IFR flight plans as well. On today's flight, I learned a valuable lesson about when to cancel that IFR plan and go VFR. Come along for the ride.
Starting our descent, let's go to our descent checklist. Oxygen still required. Altimeter 3022 for Lake Tahoe. Set. Cabin heat defrost, we're good.
Camera Jet 831, port field inside.
Light on, check.
We'll report the field inside. Camera Jet 831.
Brake tank, check. Power lever is required, we're good right now. Not doing a rapid descent, mixture is good. Brake pressure, we got brake pressure. Before landing checklist is loaded. Back to the map.
Okay, we're an hour and 34 minutes into the flight, and we've started our descent from 16,000 feet down to 14,000 feet. And if you look really closely, you can see the beautiful Lake Tahoe off at our 11
We're going to get
o'clock.
up over here and then pull back power. A little bit.
Today was not my first flight to South Lake Tahoe. I flew up to Tahoe last summer in my little Sling 4 experimental aircraft, and I've flown up 3 or 4 additional times since I've got my Cirrus. On all my previous flights, I've always approached the South Lake Tahoe airport from the northwest by truckee. On today's flight, I took a little bit different route. I decided to fly at 16,000 feet directly over the top of the mountains and approach the South Lake Tahoe airport from the east. Once I reached Maury, my plan was to make a left turn and join the visual for runway 18.
That's Chris on 14,000, it's practical weight 96.
As I mentioned earlier, it's been about a year since I got my IFR rating. And since then, I have flown just about 85-90% of my flights as IFR flight plans. And the fact is, I really do like the regimen of flying in the IFR world. But I think there's also a downside to it as well. You get so used to having ATC tell you what to do that you forget how to do things on your own. You forget that flying IFR doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can fly both IFR and VFR and have a great, safe flight. But to do that successfully, you'll need to be clear on what the rules of engagement are on both sides of the equation.
Wind Center Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra level 14,000. Looking for lower if I can.
768 Foxtrot Sierra 14,000, what I can give you for MIA.
Okay, I'll wait for the next one.
Ray Foxtrot Sierra, clear direct South Lake Tahoe.
Clear direct South Lake Tahoe 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Oakland Center Cirrus 768 Foxtrot Sierra. I'd like to do the visual for 18 if I can.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, Roger, just report the field inside.
I'll report field inside. I'm going to be on my, I'm headed to Maury right now, and then we'll swing over to the visual for 18 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
30 Foxtrot Sierra, Roger, clear direct Maury, direct South Lake Tahoe.
Clear direct Maury, then South Lake Tahoe. How about altitude restriction?
14,000 still. Maury's in the MIA at 14,000, sir.
Gotcha, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
Okay, I'm going to do something here that you can't do in flight, and that's stop the action and give a think to what's going on. First off, I'm at 14,000 feet and I'm looking to go lower. Looking out the cockpit window, I can see that I have unlimited visibility and I'm at least 6,000 foot clear of any obstacles below. But the controller can't give me lower because of a minimum IFR altitude restriction of 14,000. And the reason is because I'm on an IFR flight plan. And when you're flying IFR, you do what you're told, whether it's the best plan or not. Sitting here in my office today, looking back at the footage, it's clear that I probably should have started thinking about another plan right now, including going to VFR. And in this case, the ATC controller was giving me another option when he asked, do you have the field in sight? Had I reported that the field was in sight, he would have probably cleared me for the visual approach, asked me to squawk VFR, and terminated my radar services, ending my IFR plan. But the reality is you don't fly the plane from your office, you fly it while you're in the air, and in this case I just missed the signs and continued on with my plan. Whenever possible, I'll use the VNAV functions of the Garmin Perspective Plus to help me with planning a descent. And in this case, I've done that by entering the VNAV altitude for the straight-in fix into my flight plan, and then 7,100 feet into the altitude select, which is exactly where we want to be at the final fix. Once all that is set, all we'll need to do is press the VNAV button, and then shortly thereafter we'll begin a nice smooth descent into our landing.
Foxtrot Sierra traffic, 11 o'clock, 4 miles southwest on altitude, gate 12,400.
Looking for traffic, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
Okay, so we now arrive at our initial approach fix, Mari, and start a turn toward the straight-in fix on the visual approach at 1-8. And this is where the confusion starts to set in. In retrospect, this is where I should have canceled my IFR flight plan and proceeded VFR into the airport, but I didn't. Instead, I activate the VNAV direct to the straight-in fix. And once that's done, 20 seconds later, that plane is going to start its descent along the VNAV path. The problem is, I'm on an IFR flight plan, not a VFR flight plan, and I don't have the clearance to do that, and you'll see the results of it in a minute. And on cue, 20 seconds later, the plane starts a descent.
VFR to Truckee with you at 7,500.
And I start my descent checklist. A few seconds later, the controller gives me one last chance to get it right and asks, "Do you have the field in sight?"
Hey, Foxtrot Sierra, you have the field in sight.
But I miss it with predictable results.
Hey, Foxtrot Sierra, you maintain 14,000, so I didn't give you a descent.
Okay. All right. Okay. Going back to 14. Sorry. 8 Foxtrot Sierra, I thought it was cleared.
Ouch. But what are you going to do? Another lesson learned and another mistake I won't be making again. So it's back to 14,000 feet and getting on the plan.
Oakland Center, 0768 Foxtrot Sierra. Back on my way to 14. I'm going to have to go way up the lake to come back down and lose some altitude, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
8 Foxtrot Sierra, roger. Foxtrot Sierra, descend maintain 13,000.
Descend maintain 13,000, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
At this point, I'm not sure if I'm out of the MIA altitude restriction or whether the controller's just feeling a little sorry for me, but I'm not going to ask. As I approach the lake now, it's pretty clear that I'm not going to be able to descend safely to my final fixed altitude of 7,100 feet. So I start turning up north, up the lake, so that when I turn to join the final lake, I've got some time to get down safely. And then finally, I say the magic words.
Oakland Center, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, field in sight.
And then, as expected, ATC clears me for the visual approach to runway 18.
Number 768 Foxtrot Sierra, Oakland Center. Clear visual approach landing South Lake Tahoe Airport. Radar services terminated. Cross main correction report downtown cancellation of IFR on the premature flight service. Have a good one.
I'll cancel IFR right now. Squawking VFR, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
8 Foxtrot Sierra, cross maintain VFR, change advisory, please approve. Have a good one.
Changing advisory, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
So now I have my clearance. I set my altitude select to 7,100 for the final fix, and I start my descent. So now that I'm flying VFR, things get a lot easier. All I got to do is turn the plane for home and enjoy the view. To do that, I'm going to activate vectors to final, which paints that beautiful pink line on my MFD, and point the plane there. Nav mode to keep us on track, and we're on our way.
Lake Tahoe traffic, Cirrus 10-mile final for runway 18.
I learned some valuable lessons on today's flight. I learned that while IFR flying provides you a lot of structure, it's also a bit inflexible. Today I learned that a successful flight plan can include both an IFR element and a VFR element. But to make that all happen, next time I'll have to do a better job of planning ahead. But today, more than anything, I was reminded just how much I love flying. Learning to fly has really been a life-changing experience for me. Every flight I learned something new, and today I hope that by sharing some of my experience with you that you might have learned something along the way as well. And finally, I want to take a moment to thank all of the pilots that have left some wonderful comments on my YouTube page. Those comments are not only gratifying, but they inspire me to keep making more videos. Okay, that's enough talking by me. Enjoy the view.
Tahoe traffic, Silver Cirrus 8300 descending Abeam Zephyr Cove for runway 18. Traffic, I've got 4 Lima Hotel, South Shoreline, Tahoe-Pt, 7,600 eastbound, Silver Cirrus, approaching the shore here. I'm about 4 mile final for runway 18. Tahoe traffic, looking for you as well.
And what's your altitude?
I'm at 7,500 descending.
Alright, I'm fine with 7,700.
Thank you.
Helicopter has the Cirrus in sight.
Inside as well, 85 shots here.
Tahoe traffic, I've got 4 Lima Hotels on the east shoreline, 7,700, Abeam Kingsbury northbound, Tahoe.
Silver Cirrus, 1 mile final for 18, Tahoe traffic. Tahoe traffic, Silver Cirrus clear, active runway 18 heading for Mountain West. Tahoe traffic.
And Silver Cirrus, are you with us overnight or just for the day?
I'll be here for 3 or 4 days, 85 shots here.
Copy that. We'll meet at golf and we'll be in the truck wagon. You can follow us.
Well, if I haven't scared the heck out of you by now, or if you actually learned something watching this video today from my mistakes, I hope you'll click the like button. If you want to see more videos along the way, please feel free to push the subscribe button. Thanks for flying with me, and I hope to see you again really soon.